It's a raining time here in Abuja, the nation's capital. Welcome to the program, everyone. Let's begin for a conversation tonight that might be as frank as you can expect and as direct as it may come. Our attention will be on education. What has happened, the Buhari budget, and some of the major issues concerning the state of the nation. Let's begin, everyone, by letting you know that for a final time, President Muhammadu Buhari appeared before the National Assembly on issues relating to federal budget and took a bow before presenting the very last budget under his administration before the joint session of the federal lawmakers. The president presented a record 20.51 trillion proposed budget for the 2023 financial year. The 20.51 trillion budget, which is the highest so far in the nation's history, and according to the president, this is his eighth financial blueprint of his administration. He tagged the budget of fiscal sustainability and transition. President Buhari, while presenting members of the parliament, noted that the 2023 transition budget was designated to address critical issues and lay a solid foundation for the incoming administration. Also, in his speech delivered to the legislature, the president pushed for the removal of fuel subsidy in 2023, saying that the policy is not sustainable considering current economic realities. Take a listen to President Muhammadu Buhari before the National Assembly today.
The expenditure policy of government in 2023 is designed to achieve the strategic objectives of National Development Plan 2021 to 2025, including microeconomic stability, human development, food security, improved business environment, energy sufficiency, improving transport infrastructure, and promoting industrialization focusing on small and medium-scale enterprises. Against the backdrop of the challenging global and domestic economic environment, it is imperative that we strengthen our microeconomic environment and address subsisting challenges as a country. The 2023 appropriation, therefore, is a budget of fiscal sustainability and transition. Our principal objective in 2023 is to maintain fiscal stability and ensure smooth transition to the incoming administration.
That is President Muhammadu Buhari earlier today at about past 10 a.m. when he presented the budget, which is being now tagged as budget of fiscal sustainability for the nation. It's going to be a budget of transition also because by May 2023, the president will be buying out of office and another administration will take over, meaning that they will inherit part of the fiscal plan that this administration would have put in place. Well, I told you earlier that the conversation tonight will be very frank, will be very direct, and we're looking at solution. Perhaps the stance of the federal government on some of the issues relating to the education sector in Nigeria. One of those issues that are bothering the minds of millions of Nigerians that are affected by the ASUU strike. But before we get into all of that, let's check out some of your political roundup stories.
Governor Ngige has ratified the resolution by the Rivers State Assembly to derecognize Celestine Omehia as former governor of the state. Governor Ngige at the signing ceremony in Government House, Port Harcourt, urged the public not to politicize the decision of the State Assembly in trying to correct an error. According to the new Assembly position, Celestine Omehia will no longer be known and addressed as a former governor of the state. He is also expected to refund within 1 week the sums of 600 million naira in benefits and 96.5 million naira. Governor Samuel of Benue State is calling on the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party to fulfill his promises of resigning as chairman of the party or seek for understanding from a aggrieved party members. Speaking during an emergency State Executive Council meeting in Makurdi, Governor Otom appeals to the national chairman to act fast and make peace with all aggrieved members of the party before it gets too late. Traditional rulers in Remo Ogun East Central District have endorsed Governor Dakwa Abiodun for a second term in office as they also passed a vote of confidence on his administration. This development was communicated by the paramount ruler of Remo Land, who is the chairman of the Ogun State Council of Obas, Babatunde Ajayi, while hosting the governor and traditional rulers from the region in his palace in Shagamu. The traditional ruler says the decision becomes imperative based on the achievement of the governor in critical sectors of the state's economy.
I'm going to bank with you. You are a good banker. I will invest in you for another tenure.
In his response, the governor thanked them for their support and understanding as he promises not to betray the confidence reposed on him by the people of the state.
So I'm very thankful to the Almighty God. I'm very thankful to them. I want to thank our revered father and paramount ruler, KBC, the Akaribu of Remoland and chairman of the Traditional Council, for this singular act that will further inspire me and motivate me to continue to do as I have done and even do more.
The All Progressives Congress in Mubi North local government area of Adamawa State has expelled the senator representing Adamawa North Senatorial District in the National Assembly, Senator Ishaku Elisha Abu, from the party for anti-party activities. 29 members of the executive committee of the party who approved the report of a disciplinary committee where it indicted the embattled senator for granting some media organizations interviews where he condemned and criticized the party's presidential flag bearer, Senator Bola Tinubu, for his choice of Senator Kashim Shettima as his running mate, and also supported the impeachment plan against President Muhammadu Buhari. Reacting to his suspension, Senator Abu described his expulsion as the work of some document forgers and imposters sponsored by a few individuals who are thriving on illegality.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us on the program. Let's get to our major topic for tonight. Well, the court has also giving the university lecturer a second blow, just in about 2 weeks. The second time, a court decision wouldn't go in the favor of the university lecturers. Today, the Court of Appeal ordered members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, to resume work with immediate effect. The appellate court gave the order in a ruling on an application by the ASUU seeking permission for it to appeal against the order of the National Industrial Court, which asked the striking lecturers to resume duty. The court also granted ASUU conditional leave to appeal the order of the Industrial Court, while insisting that ASUU must obey the order of the lower court with effect from today, which is the 7th of October 2022. The three-man panel led by Justice Harman Barker said for ASUU to file its notice of appeal within 7 days, it must show evidence that its members have resumed work immediately. The panel held that failure to adhere to the order will make the appeal incompetent before the Court of Appeal. Meanwhile, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, has returned to the presidential villa today alongside some of his colleagues, some of the leaders of the lower chamber of the National Assembly over the ASUU strike matter. The lawmaker said last Tuesday that they will return over the matter, and today they did on the consultations and recommendations made to the president over the matter.
Just came here for a follow-up, which was supposed to be yesterday, but unfortunately the president was not around, this is a follow-up, and we had once again very, very fruitful, good discussions with Mr. President on the pending issue, and this matter will be concluded. You will hear directly from the president, but suffice to say that we had a very good meeting. We all look forward to it, but we had a good meeting. We had a good meeting. You can read in between the lines.
Well, let's talk about this. What does this mean? What is the stand of the federal government? This pushing in the court, and what effect will it have on the education system of Nigeria? I'm being joined tonight by the Honorable Minister of Labor and Employment, Senator Chris Ngige, who's live with us right here in our Abuja studio. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister, for coming tonight.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you again.
Thank you so much.
After long.
So you're happy today that the Court of Appeal gave the position or the decision of the Court of Appeal on ASUU?
Well, that decision by the court is a decision some of us know that that's what it's going to be. I've gone to court many times. I'm not a lawyer, but the late Chief Rotimi Williams said law is 99% common sense. And I have read law reports, and I'm abreast. I go to court. I don't take laws into my hand. And I always like to conform to what the statutes say, the Constitution, and the laws that flow therefrom. So the court did what they should do. They have been a Supreme Court pronouncement that no matter how bad a court judgment is, no matter how bad an order is, obey it, and then come to appeal it, for it to be overturned, or to the court that gave it to vacate it. So they didn't go back to the industrial court to file their stay of execution, to ask for leave for appeal and all those, and they just rushed to the Court of Appeal, filed a stay, permission to appeal, filed an appeal, filed also a stay of execution. Wrong.
You don't think that a notice of appeal suffices for
it's not a stay.
For a stay?
No. There's pronouncement on it. Supreme Court pronouncement.
So, I mean, bottom line...
Governor, do you know, as a governor in Anambra State, do you remember my case?
I do.
Do you remember when my police and everything was removed? Is in obedience to a bad judgment, we say I was no longer governor. So it's a bad judgment. It's like saying cut off somebody, but they still try to obey it, the federal government. Yes? Till the Court of Appeal in Enugu overturned that particular judgment.
Senator Ngige, the bottom line is you are happy because what you went to court is that you do not want
I'm happy that they have been told to go back
which is what
to the classroom.
Which is what you were praying the court to do.
Yes. National Industrial Court.
Leaving your obligation to them, but you wanted court to force them back.
No, it's not my obligation. My hands were tied.
On what?
But after 6 months, they have not called off a strike even when my office has apprehended it. Section 18 says you must, when apprehension is done, you call off. If you're an employer and there's you who chase away your workers, you open the doors for them. So then Section 18 also say that once there's a transmission into the National Industrial Court, and the National Industrial Court is adjudicating on looking at the papers, employer, you open your gates. Worker, if you're on strike, you return back to work. That's status quo antebellum, you return for adjudication of the main issues and for even underground negotiations to be going on. Underground negotiations have been going on. But they pick and choose the one they want. They then refuse to go back to the classroom. So
hasn't the federal government also breached the protocol and the procedure in labor relation when you are in negotiation and you jump to court? What does just a moment.
Yes.
What does the procedure say about the process of arbitration?
Yes.
When you are arbitrating on a particular matter, doesn't the court say until you see to the end all the parties in the arbitration have all said this has fallen apart before you go to court? Did arbitration look like it fell apart or you just went to court?
Not only arbitration. If you appoint a conciliator and a conciliator writes you, that's my right.
And you are the conciliator in that sense?
I'm a conciliator, but I also have those who participate and assist me in the conciliation. You know, the one of these ASUU people is a complex thing because at a point, the Minister of Education said, please, return the case to me. And I will start mediation again with them, negotiation again with them, which we did. And then they wrote back to say that they failed. The Education Ministry wrote, I have it. Then my conciliator, which is my director, of Trade Union Services also wrote that everything has failed. At that point, Section 17 of the Trade Dispute Act is triggered into effect. That Section 17 is a double-barreled approach for the Minister of Labor. Number one, when you get that written report, within 7 days, you must transmit to National Industrial Court of Nigeria. Or, Minister, if you feel that this organization is one of the organizations involved in essential services, in your opinion, you transmit. Those two legs are fulfilled in this particular situation. So I had to do a transmission. The university teachers don't also know, even their lawyer, Felana, doesn't know that teaching, if you go to the Essential Services Act, teaching is an essential service as of today.
And so what is the import of that?
The import of that is that second leg of Section 17 operates. Immediately, so much I can transmit, because ASUU, NUT, and all these other people.
Did you give notice to ASUU that you were going to court?
To ASUU?
Before you filed the case at the NIC?
Ask them. I told them in March, as long as March.
That you were going to take these.
I will transmit.
You litigate on these.
Yes, I told them. Ask them if they will tell you the truth. Bring them here and ask them.
Because
I told them
the allegation of ASUU on the federal government is insincerity. Would you say that you have been sincere? I mean, this is not about ASUU and federal government. It's also the fact that ASUU is on one side of the divide.
Sure.
Just a moment, Minister. The federal government is on one hand, and the average Nigerians are in the middle. And the conversation here is whether or not the federal government have what it takes, the wherewithal, to be able to meet ASUU demands. So that is where the question of sincerity comes. Would you say you have been sincere in your negotiation with ASUU?
This is a question you should ask them again. And let them tell you.
They have
truth.
alleged that you are the one that is not sincere. I mean, federal government.
But they know that in the federal government team, as a conciliator, I'm the only one who tells the federal government side what you're saying is not correct. So this is the correct position. We must do it this way as ASUU wants it, because you have failed to do what you're supposed to do.
All right.
So let me tell you. It is ASUU that is not sincere.
How?
They feed their members with lies. Lies. And at a point, they politicize the entire thing.
You think this is about politics?
Of course.
How do you think so? How do you, I mean, why so also?
President Osodeke of ASUU, on national television, of Arise, AIT, asked them to vote out this government that have kept their children at home for 7 months. APC government. He said, with their children overseas and everything, this government is maltreating you. The video is there for you. Go to the YouTube. I have them.
So you are not happy about that statement?
Why is he dabbling into politics? A union should not go into politics.
Is that what
by
angered?
Section 15.
Is that what angered?
Section 15 of the Trade Union Act. You cannot.
Is that what angered your office?
There's no anger. What has angered my office is that children are home for 7 months.
But for
if you're not angered, I'm angered. Even when it is 3 months.
For over 6 months, you never take action to go to court.
You see,
so it's until when he said that before you went to court. So this is about politics.
You are speaking from two sides of the mouth.
I'm asking you a question. No. I don't belong to any side. I'm asking you. You said that, just a moment, Minister. You said the ASUU are politicizing the matter.
Yes.
And that you went to court. Now, the question is, at what point did you know that you wanted to go to court? For 6 months, you didn't go to court. Was it at a point where you saw that they politicized, that you now got angry and went to court?
No. Shehu, I'm very happy you are on this seat and you have not been on this beat. But I can correctly tell you that you do what is called amnesia of events that suit you. You were here when I took doctors to court. Did I? Or did I not? After 2 months of strike. Were you not here? Already. I took them to the same industrial court. I exercised my powers under Section 17.
After how many weeks, Minister?
2 months only.
But this one stayed for 7 months before you went to court.
This month stayed for 7 months because there were other intervening factors. This is the only case where we have what we call tripartite plus.
So was it
traditional rulers? Wait, listen, wait, you asked me a question.
Yeah.
I should educate you.
No, because Honorable Minister, you alleged something on me right now. So,
yes.
And I need to put you right in what you said. Honorable Minister.
You can't put me right because you are selecting.
You are a medical doctor. You accuse me of amnesia. And I'm
selective
asking
one.
you. No. And I'm a Nigerian. And I have people who are not in the classroom because of what you are not able to settle for 7 months. I'm not sure if there is any place in the world where students sit at home for 7 months. The anger is not from me. It's from the average Nigerian. Those who put you in that office. And you are answerable to them.
Yes.
Now, the question is, for 2-3 months, the medical practitioners were on strike.
Yes.
You took them to court.
Yes, immediately.
For 7 months.
Because lives were being lost.
University lecturers were being lost. Not until when you saw that they were politicizing, you then went to court.
No. That has nothing to do.
So it was just coincidence.
A lot of people came in and said they were trying to assist. The Sultan, chairman of Khan, would I drive them away? So I had to give them a pedestal to exercise that right. It's called tripartite plus in labor negotiation. The plus means people who are not related directly. That's what it means. And those other people did their own assignment, tried their own best for 2 months, 2 to 3 months. And I don't know what else you want me to do. It has nothing to do with the man who was politicizing the thing. No, the politics is cheap politics. I don't think that worked. But the important thing is that children were at home.
Honorable Minister.
And I had to do what the law said I should do. You are reading law now.
Honorable Minister.
The law says when conciliation has failed, one leg, section 17, or when that union or group of workers are people on essential services, minister transmits. So I transmitted.
Honorable Minister, I do not envy your work. It's a tough one. But it is one that you took with joy.
I do.
And you have the responsibility on your shoulder.
Yes.
And so, we must ask you the tough question whether you like it or not. Just a moment, Honorable Minister. We must ask you because you're a servant of the Nigerian people. Now, the question here is, and I'd like to follow up.
Correct.
Let's summarize what this decision of the appeal court means. Does it mean that you are not going to do your obligation as far as this negotiation is concerned? They're going back to classroom and status quo remains. Is that what it means?
Sheon, when I say that you select what you want to remember, let me not use amnesia, because when I use amnesia, you think
the same thing?
I'm condemning you to a disease.
Whether Latin or English, either you forget or amnesia, it's also the same. Go ahead, please.
When the industrial courts ask the doctors to go back to their patients, Femi Falana, their counsels, say they should not obey. Same way he educated these ASUU members not to obey. That is putting an appeal. But those doctors, luckily, because it's my constituency, some of them approached me informally. And I said to them, obey. Your negotiations will continue and you get most of the things you want. And they listened. So even with the court's pronouncement, they went back to the Ministry of Health, their employers, and from Ministry of Health, they both came back. It's my responsibility to conciliate. They came back and we drafted fresh agreement and things. Femi Falana was there. He sent a lawyer to represent him. That's exactly what happened. So ASUU, going back, the court said they must obey today, immediately, and show evidence. And to even assist them, I've asked labor controllers in the 36 states and the zones to reach out to the universities. Number one, to see if the vice chancellors have opened the gates, because that's one of the import of that judgment of the industrial court. You must open the gates. You must open the classrooms. And to see whether those workers, those teachers, whether they have reported today. Tomorrow, Friday and Saturday, my level controllers will write me a report. The Education Ministry, through the NUC, will also do their own bit and will compare them. By Tuesday, if they have complied with this, first they will have a right to appeal, as the court says, because the conditional leave that they gave them, that will be vacated automatically by their action. So if they have gone back to the classroom, they will have now to attach evidence and do their appeal. My labor controllers will also give me things to support.
If they don't?
Education is doing.
If they don't?
If they don't, you go and read that portion of the NICN Act.
What would happen?
They will be contemned.
What does that mean in simple language?
In simple language, they will be charged for contempt by the courts.
And the action of federal government will be that to sack?
I don't know. When we get to the bridge, we'll cross it. But so, I've told you the first stage.
Yeah,
I have done what I'm supposed to do as labor minister.
Yeah.
My labor controllers are off. They are now visiting the universities, which is the place of work, to see if the gates and the classrooms have been opened, to see if the teachers have resumed.
It's public holiday on Monday. Tomorrow is weekend.
No. Today and tomorrow.
The judgment came only today.
But the judgment,
what if they were not in their cities?
The judgment said immediately. I'm not a judge, but the judge said immediately.
Okay.
And so emphasize that it is for 7th.
Let's move away from the technicalities and move to the reality.
Yes.
Now that this pronouncement of the Court of Appeal came.
Yes.
Would you maintain status quo? That is the question I ask. Okay. Meaning that the negotiation was on some terms. Readjust our payment structure, do this and do all of that. Are you going back to how it was before the agitation, or you are going to resume new term of service for them?
No. But you listen to the president. The president answered this your question.
Let's listen to the president.
Yes.
Take a listen to President Muhammadu Buhari. And that was why I was saying
470 billion.
Yeah.
Allocated for wage structure review and stuff.
So you are saying that the federal government does not have what it takes.
The federal government is doing their own as per the conditionality of ability to pay.
But at the moment, you do not have it. Is that what you mean?
What?
You don't have the wherewithal to be able to meet their demands.
Immediately now?
Yes.
It's in the 2023 budget. That's what education.
We are in 2022. We are in 2022.
No.
I'm saying immediately you do not have what it takes to meet their demands.
Of course.
That's the fact.
Of course. That's what the president have said. And he said he cannot sign or ask us to sign agreements that are unimplementable.
Is the nation that broke that they can't meet the demand?
I don't know about brokerage or no broke, but as labor minister, the era of signing on implementable agreement is gone.
All right.
Not under my watch.
Okay, so let's take a listen to the president. Now, you remember what the Honorable Speaker of the House said, Femi Gbajabiamila. He said it's positive. Let's listen to the president. Whether or not there is a difference in what the president said and what the president told the speaker and his colleagues. Take a listen to the president.
The government notes with dismay the crisis that has paralyzed activities in the public universities in the country. We expect the staff of these institutions to show a better appreciation of the current state of affairs in the country. In the determined effort to resolve the issue, we have provided a total of 470 billion naira in the 2023 budget from our constrained resources for revitalization and salary enhancements in the tertiary institutions. Distinguished senators and honorable members, it is instructive to know that today government alone cannot provide the resources required for funding tertiary education. In most countries, the cost of education is jointly shared between the government and the people, especially at the tertiary level. It is imperative, therefore, that we introduce a more sustainable model of funding tertiary education. The government remains committed to the implementation of agreements reached with staff union within available resources. This is why we have remained resolute that we will not sign any agreement that we would be unable to implement.
That is a president. I think that was pretty much straightforward on what it means. But we get the implication on all of this. So in the past days, the federal government has approved CONUA, a rival, if you call it, association to ASUU. We'll go on a break, and when we come back, Honorable Minister for Labor and Employment is still with us. It's a conversation, it's a discussion. It might be heated, but we get in right into the heart of the matter. So you, an average Nigerian, or whatever you may be in this country or out of this country, can get a sense of what we're going to face in the coming days or in the future. We come back and discuss, is there an amicable resolution or for art? So with me, everyone. Good brother. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Our conversation continues with the Honorable Minister of Labor and Employment, Senator Chris Ngige, over the lingering ASUU strike. Honorable Minister, so the President put it simple.
Correct.
That there is no money to meet ASUU demands for now, but there is a plan into 2023 budget. Mm-hmm. The plan, does it cover the demands of ASUU of the 2023 budget?
Of course, yes.
Okay, so there is hope.
Of course, yes. For the tertiary institutions, university, polytechnic, and college of education. But you know, the universities take the largest chunk. They take about 60 or 65% of whatever you're talking about in tertiary. So it's part of what education had given them when they went back. And so I don't think there will be too much problem. If I were ASUU, if I were to be their counsel to advise them, I would tell them not to be making money for lawyers. Lawyers who want cases go upstairs, up to Court of Appeal, Supreme Court. And anyway, the good thing about this one now is that by Section 243 of the Nigerian Constitution, the Court of Appeal is the terminal court for this judgment.
So now,
I will advise us, for the benefit of the nation, the children, to go back to the classroom. Go back to that same initial court. That initial court will grant them either of two things. They set up an ADR, Alternative Dispute Resolution, to look into all the issues I transmitted there. I transmitted about 7 issues for them to adjudicate on. They will do it under an ADR domiciled inside the court, or that court, NICN. Or if the claimant and defendant opt to go back to their primary route, which is Ministry of Education, just like the doctors did, they will grant them an opportunity to go back there.
All right, Minister, let's quickly tackle a few of these issues. So as it stands right now, your stand is for them to go back to the classroom, and from what we understand, there is a rival association of the university lecturers. And the motivation for CONUA, that's what is being called, does it sound mischievous though? How much of a coincidence was it? Why that all of this is going on, you signed up CONUA?
The CONUA people have been accusing me of being a friend to ASUU.
Even while you were fighting them?
That shows you I'm doing the right thing. They were recommended for recognition in 2019. The application came in 2018. They made points. 1, we've been driven away by ASUU. Our membership taken away. So we are unionless. That gives them a big standpoint to be recognized. 2, no democracy in ASUU. We are not allowed to talk. Our congresses were stifled. 3, we don't know how elections are conducted there. And ASUU doesn't invite Ministry of Labor to come and monitor their AGM like other unions. And it's there in the Labor Act. So they made points.
Is it not curious, though?
No, just listen. My committee in 2019 recommended them for recognition. And we didn't register them because the regime was going away. Now, and immediately we came back, COVID-19 came. And they kept on piling pressure and saying, I'm doing the delaying tactics. And I said, no, it's not delaying tactics. ASUU is on strike in 2020. They were on strike, if you remember, from March to December. And I said to Konwa, if I register you now, I will be accused of trying to punish ASUU or decapitate ASUU. Right, so that's where we are. So I just exercise my powers under the Trade Union Act, Section 3(2).
Let's move swiftly. I have a lot of questions for you. One is curious, though, that you were in the forefront when you were confirming them. I mean, this was supposed to be the role of the trade union services, isn't it?
Register of Trade Union.
Yeah, right. So why were you, is it supposed to be a government kind of thing, or the registry?
Who is the Register of Trade Union?
I mean, you tell Nigerians.
Where is that office domiciled?
Under your ministry, but well,
who is their supervisor?
You asked the question that,
no.
You know the reason why the questions are being raised. Just a moment, Minister. Yes. You know why the questions are being raised?
Why?
There's a battle between the federal government and ASUU.
Go and read Section 3(2). You are doing law. You should be thorough. Go and read it. He says the Minister of Labor can register new unions.
Yeah, no one is questioning whether you can register.
And says also that I can regroup existing ones.
The last time I checked, you're a medical doctor.
When they outlive their usefulness.
You want to start practicing
Is ASUU still protecting everybody? A group of people told you that they're not protecting them.
Common sense. Common sense here. If you are having issues with one party
under 3(2),
and you are drawing to yourself, it's not about me.
If ASUU doesn't like
it's about what it looks like.
They go to court. I'm a court person, judicial person. I'm a small man. I don't fight physically, so I use the court.
Would Konwa be enjoying some of the agitation from ASUU? Would they be benefiting?
Of course. They are now a registered union for academics. There's another one. Why are you not asking me about NAMDA? Nigerian Association of Medical and Dental Academics.
Yeah.
They are registered too, because of their peculiarity. They have teachers in the colleges of medicine for preclinical and those for clinical consultants in the hospitals. They run into all sorts of problems.
Does the time of registering and confirming Konwa give them the opportunity to go on strike?
Of course. But they have told you, and Nigerians noted, that they said they are not for strike. They are not strikers. That they are out to improve the quality of university education. They made a pledge to you on national television.
Because one of the
and they will enjoy all rights and privileges. All rights.
That ASUU is fighting for. But they don't subscribe to the agitation of ASUU.
No, their method, they say they don't want.
Of going on strike.
Yes, using strike on everything. You know, I told ASUU, and their president even said it. I said, strike for everything. Since 1980, when you started fighting Shagari with strike, to now is outdated, is out of fashion. The world has moved. So even opening up the democratic space for the academics is something that is modern. We used to stand in line in Nigeria to make international calls at NITEL. We're doing that. Even those of us who have telephone in our homes, they cut it off, and you go and queue. But today, you can see what has happened in telecom.
One of the agitations, or part of the agitations of ASUU, is the university autonomy.
Yes.
That the infrastructure should be looked into, the quality of education. But from your own standpoint, what is university autonomy?
My standpoint is clear. The University Miscellaneous Autonomy Act is there. If you read it, you see it. It's a clear, straightforward issue. What it means is that universities should take their life, their existence in their hands.
Is the federal government
the governing council?
Is the federal government allowing them to do that?
Why not? They are the ones appointing their vice chancellors. Yes. But the same act permits federal government to appoint their governing council and pro-chancellor, which
what
is
about
their
financial
chairman.
autonomy? They have
financial
to
autonomy is there.
To Abuja.
No, it's there. They're deceiving you. Go and read. When you hear such things, go and read.
Minister,
when you read it, you see.
You push back when a matter is not convenient for you.
I'm a medical doctor, but I'm reading.
I'm putting things to
you
that I've dropped. I read,
if you read
that much more than you can imagine. Minister.
You see the autonomy given to them on finances, that they should generate their own revenue use it.
If you are claiming this, Minister,
excuse me.
So why are these things not working?
As you said, you cannot increase school fees. If you increase school fees, we'll go on strike. So they're holding their governing council by the balls. And at the same time, they say, pay us more money. Give us more money for infrastructure. That fund is providing a lot in infrastructure, even in state universities. So I support university autonomy 110%. Full autonomy. I mean, not selective autonomy. You want to appoint your own vice chancellors. You want to appoint head of department. Some ASUU members become DVCs and things like that. But you don't want generation of money. You don't want the money you get on consultancy to be put in that pool. You don't want endowment fund to be accounted for. You must put them in a pool so that federal government can give a grant.
How will this thing work? These things
the president has said
the
it
laws
today.
are there.
I think you listen to Mr. President.
So how do we go forward? That is the question. The quality of education in the tertiary institution.
We are going to push. People like me are going to push.
For what?
Before we leave this administration, that autonomy must be full, 100%.
For universities?
Yes. They go and generate their own money.
All right, let's wrap up.
Why should the same the university professor in Lagos and the one in Abakaliki be paid the same salary? Why? Is house rent in Lagos and Abakaliki the same? Or the man in Sokoto and the man in Port Harcourt? Federal universities. It doesn't make sense. So I'm for full autonomy.
So what would
we
you
amended that law while I was in the Senate.
Okay, so
yes.
Are you pushing for the amendment now?
I will go to Federal Executive Council with my memo.
Okay.
I will.
Great. Let's finalize on this matter. You walked out on the National Assembly on this matter.
Yeah.
What were your reasons?
No. I didn't. You see, it's blackmail.
Okay. Explain to us. You have the opportunity to explain what happened.
What happened? I went to National Assembly, House of Representatives, on the invitation of the Speaker. As a matter of fact, I cut short my trip abroad to come to honor the National Assembly. Because what they are doing is correct. They want to assist again. They are part of the tripartite plus, I'm telling you. And I made it clear to them that I was there as an observer. Because by ILO conventions and that work for competent authorities, I'm not supposed to carry unions to another establishment. I can be blackmailed for that. So I told them exactly that this is my position. But I will grant you all the information you will need. So I spoke last on the government side. So before I finished speaking, I wrote for the Speaker that I'm going away for another meeting. Just like the SGF before me had taken permission to represent Mr. President elsewhere. I had a budget defense with my officials, and they were waiting for me because I was away. So the Speaker said, you speak and you go. So by the time I finished speaking and I was about to go, I begged that ASUU president should stop politicizing the strike. Because he has gone on national television to say that they should vote out the APC government, that they have kept children at home for 7 months. And Mr. Speaker said, are you sure? I said, yes. He said, which medium? I said, it's on AIT. It's on Arise. It's in YouTube. If you go, you click, and you get all this station. And it's circulating now. And the ASUU president then denied. And so they're shouting and saying, no, 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 that I've lied against them, that. So that's what happened. And before then, the House Majority Leader, the Goa, had accused another member that he's supporting ASUU because ASUU is now playing opposition politics, asking people to vote us out and be obedient. And so I gave a final, clearer picture. That's what happened.
So from your own point of view.
So when he started shouting, the speaker said, no, don't shout. You have your own time. And as I was going away, Honorable Toby asked me, Honorable Minister, please come back. We'll have one more question. I said, no. I won't come back again because the speaker has given me leave to go. So and speaker is the presiding officer. So that's what happened.
We need to. I have a few questions, and I need to take you to politics quickly before we go. But
politics, am I saying a politician? So as I was going away, I tapped ASUU president, who is my friend. I said, my friend, cool down. This world don't be like this as you look up.
Now,
he didn't find the joke.
I mean, I wouldn't find it funny. So now, as they go back to classroom,
yes,
the no work, no pay regime, you are not rescinding it. All the months which
no work, no pay is before that is the industrial court to interpret.
All right,
it's one of the things I transmitted. That's why nobody, including me, can be commenting on it now.
Is there a plan for the student to regain the lost time?
You should be asking ASUU. They claim that they will do that, but I don't see that it's not true because there's no magic about it. I went to university, so they can tell those to market women who didn't go to university. Yeah, there's nothing you can gain. Some people have lost 1 year, added 1 year on their NYAC age. So those who were 29 are now 30. So they can't go for NYAC patriotically. It's even in the judgment. They have also added 1 year in terms of those who entered the public service or even any other private service, because maximum age in public service, private service is 60 years. You retire. So they have added one year.
Minister, let's go quickly before we. Your party, the APC, let me be very certain. Let me not assume you are still actively in politics, isn't it?
Sean, I'm not actively in politics. When I withdrew from the presidential race, I said I was going to go and face my work. And you also saw that the work was variegated and multifarious as I came back.
So is that the reason why many unions were included on the campaign council?
Sorry?
Well, I said, is that the basis for you not being included in the campaign council?
I'm not in the campaign council. I'm not in the campaign council.
And you don't want to be?
What do you say I don't want to be? I don't think I'm useful there even, because I'm doing a national job that is more important than being in the campaign council. The president said we cannot shut down.
Okay. So your
vice president, SGF, and a lot of them.
So ministers, that you are not actively participating in politics now doesn't mean that you are not still supporting your party's candidate.
My party's candidate is my personal friend,
Bola Tinubu.
Yes, and we have come a long way.
And you have
we did AC to ACN.
And
I ran an election under ACN, a Bolekaja party in the southeast and Anambra. But I won a Senate seat, the only opposition senator in the whole of Eastern region.
So, well, I mean, you will be. How difficult is it for you to support your party's candidate now that you say you're not really actively participating in politics, and you have your very good friend? Just a moment, Minister.
Okay.
You have your very good friend, Peter Obi, as a candidate of the Labour Party. At the time that...
the head of the obedient people.
At the point that people in your region are clamoring for an Igbo president, now that you have one, how difficult is it for you to support Bola Tinubu as against Peter Obi? Is it difficult?
Sharon, you like boxing people into a corner. I've told you I'm not active. You even noticed that I'm not active in politics for now, but I'm facing national assignment. Why are you asking me a difficult question?
Is it difficult?
Both of them are my friends now from what you've said.
What would you choose?
No, forget it. my choice will be in the ballot box. On the day of ballot, I make my choice.
You vote your conscience.
Forget it. Whether conscience or no conscience, that day, in February, one vote.
So it's not, you cannot tell Nigerians that you're voting your candidate. That's what you're saying right now.
Why do you say so? It's a secret ballot. I shouldn't tell Nigerians what I will do secretly.
All right, so let me ask you. Your party is campaigning with Bola Tinubu's track record as governor of Lagos State.
Yes.
And there are a lot of us guys are also speaking about Peter Obi's track record as governor of Anambra State. He took over from you. So you must be very proud of his track record, is it?
Let me tell you, the two men and their track records, yes, good. But you must go into the nitty-gritty of your analysis. Asiwaju Bola Tinubu came to Lagos when there was like nothing. Everything scattered. I live in Lagos, so I can tell you. He did what he's supposed to do, and then reformed the financial system and everything, put a solid foundation, drew a roadmap for successors, Fashola and Co. and the others. I came to Anambra State. Everything started, just like in Lagos. I rebuilt the foundation of governance in that state.
But you couldn't finish.
I didn't finish. But I did infrastructure which people can see. I did payments of salaries, put salaries on first line charge, finish accumulated arrears, put security back in the place.
So were you proud of what Peter Obi continued when you left?
Yes, he was building on my foundation, even though he disagreed with me on infrastructure. So for the first tenure, he didn't do infrastructure. He didn't do, but he realized that it was a grievous mistake when we met in the ballot in 2010 and when we met in the senatorial election for our senatorial district.
We need to go now. So, I mean, if you had to rate them, you think Bola Tinubu performed better than Peter Obi when they were governors?
I'm not an analyst in that respect.
But you sat in that seat before.
You see people doing polls, gerrymandered polls, and using statistics and samples that don't reflect whole. So I don't want to get into that kind of analysis.
For coming. If you look at the crystal ball, who do you think can win this election?
Well, the way the parties have problem, the big parties, we have problem in APC. PDP have their own. Their own is 2 times our own. Our own is family disagreements over lease.
So
if we get our acts together, my party will sweep.
Honorable Minister for Employment, Labor and Employment, Senator Chris Ngige, thank you so much indeed for coming to me.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you so much.
Sharon, the law student.
That's our show for tonight. You pushed back a few times. Thank God I didn't turn his boxing match. That's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm sure Kimale. Bye for now.